Hello and good evening and welcome to Are You Brave Enough? I'm Amy, your host for this evening, and tonight we're not at any haunted location. We are all in the studio. We are going to do a very special questions and answers. So if there's anything you'd like to know about any of the team members, any of the locations, this is your opportunity to ask us. So if you could please share your the posts and that would be really greatly appreciated. And Trudy will not be on tonight, she is away, so let's get on with the show and let's bring on my guests.
Hello.
Hello, how are you both?
Yeah,
Are you
pretty
both
decent actually.
Yeah, good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
So have you
brilliant.
guys been up to anything this week?
Well, yeah, been busy with going out and looking at new venues, and I was working last night. We was out on location down in Kent at RAF Manson, so that's kind of been my week really. So been busy but good.
I've been busy
Oh,
being
that's
a parent.
great. So do you know what, right, that job never ends, that job done. I know exactly what you mean. I've only got one more week left until I'm back at work myself teaching, so I'm enjoying
You
it
and me
while I
both.
can. So, absolutely. So, if anybody in the chat has any questions for any of us, and Danny will be joining us later. So, if you've got a question for Danny, so save that for him. But if anyone's got any questions for us, fire away. It is your night and you can ask us anything you like. Anyway, I'm going to start off with the questions and I am going to ask Jasmine, right? How long have you been with Ghost Hunter Tours?
I've been working for Ghost Hunter Tours for like 3.5 years now, but I came to the event as a guest for a year before that. So about 4.5 years I've been involved.
It seems like a lot longer.
Thanks. I hope
So
that's meant in a nice way.
so what made you feel that you absolutely what made you get into, what made you want to become a locations host and that lot, joining the Ghost Hunter Tours team? What made you want to do that?
Well, joining the team was a bit of a surprise because, as I said, I was coming on events as a guest. And then I was asked if I would try out for crew when Andy and Gary were looking for crew. And because it's something I'm interested in, I did. And that's how I ended up working for them.
We've not been the same since,
Wow.
really.
That's great.
More for you, Andy. For you.
So, Andy, what made you start up GHT?
Well, that's a really good question, and a lot of people ask me that all the time, to be honest with you. So, we Gary and I obviously set this up. We'd been working in the psychic industry for a very long time, doing a lot of psychic events and promoting some pretty famous psychics, doing their shows and everything like that. And it was kind of a natural progression on to do that. I was like working full time, doing the psychic events, everything like that. And I kind of had a change of fortune in my own life, where my youngest kiddie got long-term sick. So I had to back away from working full-time and then kind of work sort of part-time. So GHT was a great thing to kind of set up because it allowed me just to work kind of in the evening time. And that's kind of the real reason behind it. It's just because of a change of fortune in sort of my own personal circumstances. But now, of course, it's a full-time job and it's going great, and it's going great because we've got great guests, great crew, and everything. So we're really blessed with that, to be honest with you. So that is the answer. Sorry, it was a long one.
Next question, and it's from Chris Allen Smith, and he says, "Hi Andy, what happened at Manston last night?"
Oh, Chris, good evening. How are you doing? Well, we had a great night last night, and we did. I think you come. was it last month or the month before? I think to Manson when we did it. We did something a little bit different there last night. We did a séance there. I set up a séance table, and we also did another séance inside their new acquisition, which was a Nimrod aircraft. So it was a really, really good night, to be honest with you. We made all our guests work really, really hard, because normally we only do 3 vigils at that. We crammed an extra vigil into that, so we made them work really hard without a cup of tea break. So they, by the end of the evening, they was ready for bed. So, but it was a great night. Activity, as always, in that place was really good. So you missed a good one last night, Chris.
Odette has put up a comment, and she says, glad to see you're doing Preston Manor again. That's one of my favourite locations. I'm doing the morgue and institution hospital in a couple of weeks with you guys. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, hi Odette, how you doing? You going with Brendan? I'm expecting her to answer me live because she's got to type it, hasn't she? Sorry, Odette.
Right, Lisa, but I'm going to ask you both the question, right? Lisa has said, Andy, do you have any psychic abilities?
No. None at all.
Well, that was a short answer.
How about you, Jasmine? It was short and
Right.
sweet. How about you, Jasmine? Do you have any?
I didn't think I did, but since working for GHT, I think I do, yes. Still not quite sure
So,
kind of at what level.
So what do you see? Like, do you see anything? Do you hear anything? So what is your ability?
So for me, when it comes to events, for me it's more the only way I can kind of describe it is it's like a TV screen in my head. Like if I am somewhere, if spirit wants to communicate,
Okay.
I can kind of see them, but it's not like a full-on apparition. Like it's a bit like watching television in my own head, basically. So I can see them and I can hear them, but they're not there as such. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it, I think.
Yeah, that's good. This one first. It's from D, and she says, out of all the new locations, Andy, which are you most looking forward to?
Oh my gosh, it's the one that I can't talk about. We it's well, I can sort of talk about it, I guess, really, but I can't say where it is because we're not doing the contracts until next week. So we're going to a really new, exciting place that we've been banging on their door for a very, very long time, and it looks like that we might be going to be the exclusive partner there. It's not Preston Manor, it's another one. Although I'm excited to go back to Preston Manor. Yeah, so it's really something quite special.
Wow, that'd be amazing. I don't know where it is though. I'll be badgering you later. How about you, Jasmine? Is there any locations that you really like, or anything new that's coming up that you're looking forward to?
My favourite is Preston Manor. It was the first one I ever did, so I can't wait to get back in there. As far as new locations
been there, so it's one that I do need to do.
Yeah, new locations wise, I actually don't know all of our new locations. There are still locations that we do that I haven't been to. So, yeah, I'm excited for all of them, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have a favourite location?
I'd probably say Preston Manor. I do love it there.
Jasmine?
Preston Manor is truly one of the most awesome.
Answered you.
Yeah.
Adette's answered you because yes, I'm with Brendan and my son. It's his first ghost hunt, so that'll be exciting for him.
Oh well, I promise I will try it. Yeah, I will promise to try and get down there if I can make that, because I'd like to do that with you guys if I can get down there.
Absolutely. Right. Oh, hang on. Chris has asked another question about a location. Did much happen at Pluckley Seance the other week?
Yes, it did. What a great night we had doing that. We had Trudy doing medium for that, and the location that we do it at, we keep a secret, and we just let the people know just before they're due to arrive. We kind of give them a rough idea of where they need to drive to, and then we just let them know last minute where they're going to. The place is so haunted, it's untrue. Apart from the seance stuff, we had things banging around us and making noises and everything like that. So we kind of got a bit more than what we bargained for. We're back there, I think, 25th of September for the next one, which I think it's sold out.
Wow, amazing.
It's great.
Right. I am going to ask Jasmine. Yeah, wow. Jasmine, I'm going to ask you this first. Where would your ultimate place to do a ghost be?
Wow. Okay, that's a really difficult question. I think I would like to get into like an abandoned asylum or something like that, because I've done with friends, I've done my own little kind of call outs and stuff in the grounds, around the old Hellingly Hospital, because there's a woodland around it. I've done call outs and stuff in there before, and the activity was really good. So I'd love to get in somewhere like that. That would be absolutely amazing.
You would have enjoyed the Lincoln Lawns, you would have. Which is obviously in Lincoln, but I don't think it's open to ghost. Oh. Andy, where would your ultimate place be to do a ghost hunt?
Well, so there's a couple of places that I really want to go to, and I want to do something at Salem. So that's kind of not on the UK sort of circuit, to be honest with you. So I want to do Salem. I don't mind doing Alcatraz again, to be honest with you. But going,
do you know what? I've always wanted to go to Alcatraz.
Yeah, it's a good place. But recently, and I'm going to get you to ask Jasmine all about it, I want to go and do one in Clapham Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about that place.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Why?
What happened?
It's
go on then. Why?
Because it's probably the single most oppressive, negative, and unpleasant place I have ever been, and that is saying something. I wouldn't even go back in the day. Forget it. No. Bandy wants to do it and go by himself.
That good then?
Well, I wouldn't say good,
right,
but it's something.
Right, next question. Emma wants to know, when are you coming a bit closer?
To Hastings. So,
Andy.
Interestingly enough, we it's been a bit of a funny time, because a lot of places are not after lockdown and everything like that are quite still, believe it or not quite as open as they used to be. So they're quite hard to reach out to people. We are tapping away at a new location in Hastings. We're also going to be revisiting a couple of old favourites. St Mary and the Castle is one. That is brilliant, that place. That's really, really good. But the one that we're chasing, I think you will really, really like that. We're down near, I think we're Eastbourne, which is not too far from Hastings, 22nd of January at the Hippodrome. That's a great location. So we're working on it. We're working to get back down that way a little bit, because I quite like going down there, to be fair. So good.
Absolutely.
I like the crazy golf down there as well.
I've got a question this time. Right, Lisa wants to know, what is my favourite go-tours? Well, it's a new location that we're going to in November the 20th, and it's the Galleries of Justice. I've done that location countless times, and I am really, really looking forward to getting back there. So, how about you then, Andy? What's yours?
Oh, do you know what? I mean, I know we talk about it so much, but Preston Manor, it's just, it's a location that just keeps giving. And unless you've been there and experienced it, it is the weirdest, strangest place you can ever imagine. And it's not just us saying it because we're trying to sell tickets for the thing. Anyone that goes there, it's just weird. It's just fantastically odd.
Wow.
And we've actually we got
what
some.
about you then? I thought you'd stop.
Sorry.
Then.
No, I'll never stop. But we've got some good news actually because we are going to be doing. You don't even know this. We are going to be doing one of these Sunday night lives from there in a couple of weeks' time.
Wow, are you? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
we are. Yeah, we only found out.
That.
Yeah, we only found out about it on Wednesday. So we're going to be doing a Sunday night live. We might try and, if it's okay with you guys watching, we might try and make it just a little bit longer for that one because it is a special. We got the Preston Manor historian coming on that sort of that live with us as well. She's actually wrote a book about it as well. So you guys are going to get stuff verified firsthand. So that's going to be really quite something. And we couldn't believe the opportunity was offered to us. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Wow. Right, Carl. Oh, sorry, Jasmine. Where's yours? Forgot.
It's definitely Preston Manor. We go on about it all the time, but it's definitely Preston Manor.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right, question from Carl. Andy, what made you start GHT? When did you start believing in the paranormal?
Do you know what?
I've already asked about when did you start Ghost Hunter Tours?
Yeah, I don't mind doing it again. Do you know what? I've been into it ever since I was a little kid, to be fair. And I like that. I like anything to do with sort of conspiracy theories. Be really, really interested in some of that sort of stuff. And UFOs as well. I quite like that sort of stuff. So, it's just anything that's a bit unexplained, that's right up my street.
How about you then, Jasmine? And what got you into believing in the paranormal?
Well, apparently when I was a child, I could talk to people that nobody else could see. So that's kind of, as I got older, what got me actually thinking about it. And it just kind of went from there. I did a lot of research and, started doing events and stuff.
Brilliant. Well, I can remember I did my very first paranormal investigation when I was 5 years old. I did a lone vigil, right? And what happened was it was my parents' house, and me and my sister were going up to bed, and we could hear this little bell tingling, like, and this cat came through a door that was shut tight, and it stood in the middle of the landing, and it was looking at me and my sister. Anyway, my mum shouts, "Get to bed!" And this cat shot across the landing through a door that was shut tight, and it ran straight through the door. And that day I didn't know a difference between ghosts and spirits and all that lot, but this cat could see us just as much as we could see this cat. Anyway, the next day I sat at the top of the stairs armed with a box of cat biscuits and a pint of milk I stole off the doorstep, and I did my very first paranormal investigation. I've been obsessed ever since. So absolutely mental it was.
So what you're saying is your most haunted location was the naughty step when you was a kid?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Right, next question. Oh, hang on. I've gone far too... Jeez, I have gone too far. Right, hang on then. That's... Oh, no, I haven't gone too far. Hang on. Right, I've got a good question for you. Off Jill. Have Ghost Hunter Tours ever invested abroad? If so, what place, and if not, where would you like to investigate?
Wow, interesting, because we've obviously done a few bits and pieces ourselves, but we've not done anything abroad with guests. But before lockdown was due to come, we were about to become a partner with a cruise line company that were going to take us to do excursions for them, for their guests, and we were going to do Transylvania. And we was also going to do, I can't remember where it was, but somewhere very interesting abroad. So the answer was that the plans were there. COVID come along, but we are going to try and pursue those again, to be honest with you, because I want to go there, to be honest with you. So it's no other reason, really.
I volunteer for that one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you're killed in the rush. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's
Right,
yours.
got a question. I've got a question, right? And I think we could have done with Craig and Diane on this one because it's one of their nights. Vicky wants to know, what pro nights have you got coming up?
Oh wow! Well, we've got one very, very soon, actually. To be honest, so kind of the one at Gosport, the isolation hospital and morgue. Although it's not out there as a pro night, we are going to run it as a pro night because we've got the pro night team there. So that's kind of the next one. The weekend after, we're at the Seine Valley Golf Club. Do you remember the place that had the trophy that everyone held and then died?
The trophy, the golf trophy thing, yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys remember the live that we did from
I remember that.
yeah. So we're there, sort of like on the 11th of September. Well, I'm not there. Craig and Di are doing that. So, so that's the next one. We have also got a place coming up that was a lot of the people that do the pro nights are really, really interested in seeing if we can get. Part of Dover Castle, there's a place called Constable's Tower. Oh, you was there, wasn't you? So
yes, me, you, and Gary investigated that.
Yeah, we did. We've got the opportunity to do that place as a pro night.
That'd be amazing, that one, because we got some really good activity. You remember the shadows and all that, like we had moving in the attic.
I've not been able to sleep since, honestly.
Right, we have got something that Chris has said. He says, I've stayed at Chillingham Castle 2 times up in Northumberland. He says, have you too scared to sleep? That is scary. I have actually stayed at Chillingham Castle loads of times. I stay there for weeks at a time, I do. So I know the castle really quite well. So Sir Humphrey of Wakefield owns it with Lady Catherine, and Lady Catherine's great grandfather is Earl Grey. Did you know?
What? So that's good. That's interesting.
I know that place quite well.
Yeah, no, it looks a good. It looks a really good location.
Have any of you's been there?
No, never been.
It's amazing.
No, I've not. I've seen it on TV and it looks pretty impressive.
Oh, I tell you what, it is amazing. I've stayed. I'm supposed to be going there in December actually for a couple of nights. So well, for a night. So that would be good. All right, let's see. Right, Lisa's got another question. I'm going to ask Jasmine because she hasn't answered a question for a little while. Is there a location that you absolutely refuse to go back to?
Yep, Clapham Woods, never
Whether
going back.
Whether it's too scary or anything. How about you, Andy?
No, I haven't been down to Clapham Woods in the dark, but to be honest with you, there's nowhere that I would refuse to go back. Me refusing to go back to a location may be for a different reason. It might be to do with that we weren't looked after so well by the venue or something like that. But from a spooky point of view, there's nowhere that I wouldn't really go back to. But I mean, if you used to ask me after I've been to Clapham Woods, you might get that answer as well. But because Jasmine and Kerry went down there and they've not quite been the same since.
No.
Is that where Jasmine puked?
No, that was Bramber Castle.
Oh yeah, of course it was.
I'd
Oh,
do that again. That
hang
was
on.
fun.
There's a knock on the door.
Hang on, there's a knock on the
Yeah.
door. Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are
Very
you?
good, thank you. How are
You
you?
can join in questions now.
Hi, Jazz. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm
to the
good.
party.
Good, thanks.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's like Noel's
Boss man, I
house
should say
party
hello
here
to you as
tonight.
well, shouldn't I?
How are you, mate? You okay?
Very good, thank you. Hello to everyone in the chat. I can see everyone popping up. This is lovely. It's like, you know, when you come over at Christmas and you're about an hour late and the dinner's just about to get served. I feel like that's where I am now. The dinner is just about. It's a food relation. You'll all know me by now. I love a bit of food. Fraser's in the background shouting out, yeah.
Did he have a nice time yesterday?
He really enjoyed it. He's obviously never been before, and we brought him along. He's super skeptical, and whenever I tell him stuff when I come back, he's like, yeah, all right, whatever. So for the first couple of vigils, he was just there, and then the third one, we put him on a human pendulum, and he was in the middle, and he was rocking backwards and forwards like a good one. And he didn't know, like, you didn't know how it happened, did you? It was just like, what's going on? What is this? And yeah, proper answering. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna fall. We're like, don't worry, you'll be fine. We've got you. So yeah, that was good fun. He had a brilliant night, cracking night though.
We had a really good time last night, and then we was allowed when all the guests left, we went to play ourselves, didn't we?
Do you know what? That cruise seance was brilliant, wasn't it? Like, hats off to Lisa.
Wicked.
She had done a cracking job with the guests all night. Lisa and Sue, both around the table, getting everyone and then their loved ones' messages coming through. And I know there were lots of personal stories that came through last night. It was a real, like, guests night. Like, there was loads of spirit, but also loads of personal spirit connections. And then Lisa took us as a bit of it was like a team building exercise at the end of the night. You know, most people go out for dinner at 6 o'clock. No, we do seance at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was absolutely brilliant. You know, we had Dale and Alex there as well. And for those of you that have been to Manston and met Dale and Alex, you couldn't meet two nicer people. And it was just really lovely being around the table with all of them. It was cracking night, absolutely cracking night.
Yeah, it was good. It was really, really good.
Have I missed all the questions?
Right.
Yeah.
We have another question, and because Dan's late to the party, we'll ask Dan the question first. Right. So, what's been your scariest experience so far?
Am I going first? So,
Yes, you are.
The one that made me scream. I sometimes get. Oh, I've had a cut. I do scream.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, you're a bit of a screamer, are
Yeah. And occasionally I speak a different language, which some people say is swearing, but I recognise it as another international language. I think that's important to talk about. When I think actually it was in Dover, because it's the most significant one, because we got to go to the what was the top of the building called? It was the cell towers. Was it the cell towers? What was the top of that? The courtrooms at the top. Was it the courtrooms? Yeah, it was the courtroom.
Yeah.
And we went up to
the Constable's
Tower.
Tower.
Yeah, Constable's Tower, that's it. And we were at the top floor there, we're in the rooms, and we're sat around the table. Ames, I think you joined us just after, didn't you? Because you were doing a live from the top room.
Yes, we did, and we made you scream.
Yeah, that was another time. That wasn't the scariest moment, because you're a real person, you had spirit. But we're sat around the table, and I'm sat next to Trudy, and we're calling out, and we're in pitch black. And then the door at the back of the courtroom swung open, closed itself, and then there was a light that was coming through. It scared the absolute life of me. No one was in that corridor, and just before it opened, we heard 3 footsteps come down that corridor, and that was the corridor they used to walk the prisoners down before. Walk the prisoners up as they were taking them out of the cells and out of the courtroom. That was literally scared the life out of me. And then I stood in front of the door, the cell door, because we're like, right, let's put some people around, see what's going on. and truly asked them to push me, and I literally lost my balance and fell forward. And kind of like, yeah, took
Wow.
me right off my feet. It was the weirdest experience ever, but that did scare me. That did scare me.
Wow, that's amazing. How about you, Jasmine?
Oh, probably when we investigated the priest house. Before we'd actually started the event, me and Kerry went for a walk around the building just so we knew where everything was, and we did a bit of calling out before the guests arrived, and there was this, it was really loud, there was this horrible hissing noise right between where the two of us were standing in one of the rooms upstairs, and it's got quite a negative vibe anyway, so yeah, we both went downstairs pretty quickly to get the guests, so we had a few more people up there next time we went up. She screamed, I didn't.
Wow. That's mental. How about you, Andy?
Well, I was just thinking we need to do that priest house again. Actually, that's a great little place. It's a tiny little place. Got a funny story about that. When I went to view that, when we was going to talk about doing it, knocked on the door to it. As you can imagine, it's like a really little place. And the guy said, "Oh, we can't hear the door knock so often with this new front door." And I was like looking at it, and I said, "It doesn't look that new." He said, "Oh no, it's new because it was put on there in 1600s. Yeah, an older one before." But right, so scariest thing. I mean, Dan answered that differently to what I had imagined. Actually, normally, I mean, I've seen him get terrified when McDonald's are out of chicken nuggets, but it's for me recently. When we did the seance night in Pluckley, I did that with Trudy. We had some really strange things going in there while we were setting up, and we were seeing some really strange, like, shadow figures walking across the room, and like kind of we were just giving each other sideways glances and just think, so did you see that sort of thing? So that was pretty good. That little place we do that seance night, so it's a little gem. But that place that Jazz was talking about, the priest house, that's something else. That place, we need to get back in there actually.
Absolutely. Right.
What about
Ant's
yours?
got a question, and he said, "Oh, mine. Oh,
Yeah.
mine was the Galleries of Justice where I had when I was coming up the building on my own, and I was coming up the stairs, and I saw this head pop round the corner. I'm like, what are you still doing here? And I ran up the stairs to show them the way out, and I got round the corner. I was faced with a brick wall. There was no one there. So yeah, so it was really weird. And I know it was male, and he had shoulder length hair, and it was like really scruffy. So, and that was up at the prison block, the male prison block. So interesting.
Are there still tickets for Galleries of Justice?
Anyway, Ant says, not sure if the possibly.
Yeah, there is. That was a good sales pitch, Dan. Thank you. Remind me to increase your wages. Quite as subtle as we planned,
Creep.
but a good one.
No, I was genuinely interested. It wasn't a sales pitch. However, I guess I have a background in sales, so maybe it's just naturally how I talk. And you're still giving out the lunch bags, right? That's a bit even better one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can still join us on that one. It's quite a way away, but it is filling up, to be honest with you, as expected. So it is a great location. You need to go up there, Dan.
It's well worth going.
Yeah, plan to.
You really do.
Well, we've still got tickets.
It's a really good location. It never fails. It never lets you down. Anyway, Ant says, not sure if this has been asked, but what location would you love to return to if you had the opportunity? We're going to ask the boss man.
Wow. Now, this is a good one. Now, it's what's happened with lockdown is a lot of places have kind of vanished because they've had to find, either the owners of them have gone bust, or they've had to find other ways of doing things and everything like that. There's a couple of places that I would like to get back to that are not on the sort of the paranormal calendar anymore. One of them is Drakelow Tunnels. I mean, I know a lot of people would be saying that with me. And the other one sadly, Brighton Police Cells is not doing paranormals anymore, so that's really sad. So those two for me.
Okay, Jasmine.
I didn't know about Brighton Police Hills, but since Andy said that, that'll have to definitely be on my list because that was a really good one. So didn't know about that, bit gutted about that. And also the Black Horse in Pluckley. I really used to like it there, but I don't know if that's still doing paranormal events anymore because it's not been up for a while.
No, it's not. The owners are sort of kind of pursuing a different avenue. They're kind of concentrating on their food, and they don't really have a great interest in the haunted, promoting the haunted side of it. Sadly.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
No. Okay. And Dan.
I guess being a fresh one, you know, as it is, because I've only been with you for a few months, haven't I? What, 8 months? The one on my list at the moment, with the recent news around like the Palace Theatre. It is the Palace Theatre in Margate, isn't it? Palace Theatre?
Theatre Royal.
Theatre Royal in Margate. Like, I'd love to go back there again, and I do hope they continue to kind of get us in there, and because that was an amazing location, absolutely brilliant night. That stage, yeah. If we can get in there again, I absolutely loved it there. It was brilliant.
Yeah, we've had some good nights in there, to be honest with you. I mean, we're back there January.
Yeah, I'll be there. So I think you're actually there the day after my birthday. This is another pitch for my birthday. I think you're there.
Well, you know the tradition.
Yeah.
I need to buy the cake.
And well, we don't just do cake, obviously, for birthdays, do we? We just do a meal out and
You have to
cake.
buy the pill as well.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Cool. That's all right. I'm down for that.
Yeah, Gaucho Grill's okay. We'll book
Yeah.
that.
True.
Right. Bridget has got an interesting question.
Hi, Bridget.
Right. She says, she wants to do a graveyard locally. Any advice, please?
Oh, Bridget. Right, so I know where you live. Sorry, that sounded scary.
What?
So, no. Bridget's one of our guests, and she lives kind of Margate way. She loves the Theatre Royal, but hasn't been with us for a little while down there. So, a graveyard that I would visit, just a little way down in Orr near Faversham, and it's where the Gunpowder Works explosion happened, and a lot of the people that were killed in that are buried in there. That is a very, very active graveyard. I think about 200 people died in that explosion.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just trying to get. I'm gonna say Chloe's put was lovely having some crew time once the guests had gone, and Lisa was a superstar. About that.
She really was.
Right, I was just trying to read down some of the. Oh. Right, Veronica. I'm going to ask Jasmine this first. Veronica says, have you ever been possessed by a spirit?
Possessed? No, I do trance.
And that's to Jasmine.
But I've never been possessed.
Okie dokie. Andy?
No, it's not happened to me, to be honest with you. I guess I'll probably just run in the opposite direction when it looks like it's going to happen. So, no, I've not had it happen to me, to be honest with you.
No. How about you then, young Dan?
Young Dan, I like you. Very good. So no, it hasn't happened to me. I'm like Andy. I generally make sure that I'm ready to take the guests out of the location and always the first one out, because it's better to have someone follow you than be left behind, isn't it? But no, hasn't happened to me. Have you?
Okie dokie, right. No. Never.
I was a bit worried about you earlier.
Overshadowed a little bit. Ooh.
No, I'm joking. I was just saying I was a bit worried about you earlier.
It's an interesting question, right? Because it's one that comes up quite a lot when we're out on the evenings, isn't it? Like, will I be possessed? What happens if something comes home with me?
Yeah.
that like the genuine questions that come out. So it's a really good question, Brian.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the people have actually, like, the spirits have actually been to these locations for hundreds of years. Like I've never experienced a spirit coming from a location just to go home with me. I'm not that lucky for a start.
Nah, unless you make a mean cheese sandwich. I understand they like a good cheese sarnie.
Yeah. Right, Laura wants to know: have you ever done the Mermaid Inn in Rye?
Well, I know two quarters of us on this chat have. Yeah, I've done it.
2/4. I haven't.
I
2/4.
have.
You mean half?
That's it. I can tell you work in a school.
I know. Yeah. Tell
You're
me
going to detention.
about it. I don't do maths.
Yeah, we have done that. We have done that location. We actually did a crew night in there, which was absolutely superb. It was, yeah. And we are actually doing a public event there in January.
Brilliant. Right, Anne's got a question for you. Right, have you ever considered nights at locations with celebrity guests?
Funny enough, we were talking about this last night. We have done nights with celebrities already, which has been sort of quite interesting. There's one a little bit on the boil at the moment. We can't say anything about it just yet because we haven't agreed to do it yet. But so the answer to your question is yes, we've done some already. But to be honest with you, I'd be quite keen to do something like that, especially if it's someone really quite fun that's got a real interest. I don't know if I'd like to do one kind of like a TV program where someone's kind of a proper misfit and sort of takes the mick out of what the subject is. But I would like to do one with someone that's got a genuine interest in it that would kind of almost get something out of it, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So that for me, that would be worth doing.
Yeah.
But if it was just kind of like a fly on the wall thing where someone was just, I guess, doing it for a paycheck thing, to be honest with you, or something like that, and just really wouldn't get anything out of it other than just being on telly again if they hadn't been on telly for a while, that probably wouldn't be for us in GHT, to be honest with you. That sounded so snooty, didn't it?
No, absolutely.
No, not at all.
Well, Laura's kind of put something in the comments, but I won't mention it because I don't too controversial.
He's looking at the comments. Look at that. He's gone in close.
I haven't got my glasses on. I can't.
Yeah. Do you know what mine?
Yeah, I've read it. Yeah, thank you.
Right, Ricky has put, if any of you could spend all night in a very active location, where would it be? I'm going to go first, actually, because I spend quite a lot of nights at a very active location. And I'm in it now. And I was actually sleeping here last night. Up at the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. We had a team in last night. So I was actually sleeping in a very active haunted location last night. And I do it quite regular. So it's normal for me. How about you then, Andy?
Wow. Do you know what? I kind of sleep like a baby anywhere, to be fair. So, and I mean, recently, I don't know if you saw that little live that we did late one night at the Walpole Bay down in Margate. We myself and my wife, we went for a little walk round after everyone had gone to bed. She didn't sleep. Honestly, it was like having a huggy bear all night. Honestly, I couldn't breathe. She was almost strangling me because she didn't want to close her eyes all night. But
was that just because you visited the hotel, or was there anything else that, I mean?
I'm gonna let you meet her and then you can decide. No, I mean, do you know what? It doesn't the sleeping in a haunted place. I just go to sleep because I'm always just so tired all the time anyway. So I'm literally just out like a light. It's a bing, so I'm gone. It's a bit wasted on me, unfortunately.
How about you then, Min?
I think anywhere I'd like to spend a night in a haunted place would be a theatre, like the Hippodrome in Eastbourne or the Theatre Royal in Margate, somewhere like that. It would be a theatre if I could pick anywhere.
Yeah. We did a sleepover.
Dan.
Sorry, I was just going to say we did a sleepover at the True Crime Museum quite a few years ago, and there was a mad rush for people to sleep in one of the acid baths, one of the murder baths. Literally, when people sort of have had enough and they want to get their sleeping bag, there was literally almost a fight because everyone wanted to sleep in this bathtub. It was, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Dan, I cut you off there like I did last night. I kept interrupting your vigils.
Absolutely fine. No, that's fine. I always appreciate your company and vigils. You always bring a nice perspective. I do enjoy your visiting, checking in on my work most of the time. But I'm still here, so I must have been all right. I would.
Have you not checked your emails?
Margate Theatre Royal, definitely. I'd love to stay there, or at least do like a continued vigil right into the night. I think that'd be really cool. St. Augustine's. Like when I was there, and when we were there, that was a couple of months ago, wasn't it? 2 or 3 months ago.
That'd be a great place to stay. That
place felt amazing. There was some really good energy. There was some really good activity in the chapel over there as well. There was some strange things happening and some strange spirit presence. I think spending the night there would be. I don't think I'd be able to sleep. Like, I'm a very good sleeper, but I think I'd be one, excited for what's going on, and 2, absolutely petrified and probably keeping myself awake with the amount of screaming I'd be doing.
Yeah, that is a good place.
You'd be keeping everyone awake.
We're back there soon as well, aren't we?
Are we? When?
Yeah, we did.
We're back there Halloween Sunday.
Can I do it?
I think you're booked.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was easy.
Subject to the email, obviously, about last night. But
Halloween weekend's a good one, isn't it? Because I think we've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday events going on, haven't we? They're all over the weekends.
Yeah, it is, and we're doing kind of a special one at St. Augustine's. We're doing because Halloween is a Sunday. We're doing a work-friendly one, so we're starting at 5 in the afternoon and finishing at 10 in the evening.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Right,
what a good location.
I've got a question for you all.
That is a brilliant location. Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Right, I'm going to ask Jasmine first, right? If there's anything that scares her.
Oh,
anything
what, paranormal related or?
Yes,
I think
related.
I think the main thing that frightens me, it's more the thought of it that frightens me, because it never actually happened. But I think the thing that scares me most is one of the guests actually being traumatized by what happens on an event. How some people are really jumpy and get really scared quite easily. I think that's what frightens me most on an event, because I can handle myself, but obviously you don't know how other people are going to react to stuff. So yeah, I think that is probably what scares me.
Absolutely. Right, Dan, what scares you the most?
This is tough. I don't like scared and jumpy. I think are 2 different things. There are loads of things that make me jump, which I guess is a form of being scared. I think.
I've heard about your paranormal Tourette's anyway.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that would have been on a hunt with me or a couple of lives maybe might have slipped out a couple of words here and there. I think whenever there's been, from a physical seeing a physical body, that did creep me out. And that was at the end of the night when we were in the Theatre Royal in Margate. And we were closing down the show, we're saying goodbye to everyone. We felt really seasick on the stage all night, which was really weird. I know there's a question about acting out in a moment, but the stage was, really weird. And as we were closing out, Andy was closing down, was saying goodbye to everyone. I looked up and I saw a little girl looking down at me. And I physically saw a little girl there. Like usually I sense like there's something over there, but can't physically see it. There's either like a shadow or I can just feel the energy's really different in that area of the room. But I physically saw a girl at the top of the stairs. And I think when I physically see someone that isn't physically there, that scares me because I have no way of explaining how that even got there. And I said it to Andy. I was like, did you see that? It was like, see what? I was like, there was a little girl standing right there. It was like, what? I'm like, I am being serious. He's like, I believe you. I'm like, please do, because she was literally right there and now she's not there. Yeah, it was that was scary. Oh, he's gone. Look, he was that interested in the story. He's gone. He's like, oh, fed up with this guy.
It's like, where did he go?
His battery's probably
I
run
have
out.
one scares me. Yeah, probably. There's one thing that absolutely petrifies me. I am scared of mirrors in the dark.
Oh,
Really?
Ever since I was a child, at night time when I go to bed, I cover the mirrors up, and I've done that ever since I was a child, and I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't have any recollection of anything of why I do it, but I still do it to this day. That's the only thing that scares me. Mirrors in the dark.
I used to have a recurring, what at the time I called a nightmare, but I was physically awake during this whole thing. And any time I used to face the wall to fall asleep, I would always have the same, I guess, vision every single time. And it was this kind of black cloaked figure that would come up the stairs. We lived in a masonette in a block of flats. Come up the stairs. It would go in front of we had a glazed window in our bedroom, mine and my sister's bedroom. I would see it walk in front of that. It would come through our door, and then I would feel it breathing on my neck. And I knew it was there. And that scared the absolute life out. I mean, that happened for a good 6 or 7 years until we moved house.
Wow.
That scared me. So I think there's always, whenever I fall asleep and I'm next to a wall, that always comes back as a little what if in the back of my mind. So I'll always sleep away from the wall and facing away from the wall.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Fraser's looking at me like I'm crazy.
We haven't got very long now anyway, but we have one question here from Ant, and it's put, do you all find that occasion, if you act out the intended purpose of the building, you get more activity? For example, if you go to the theatre, singing on the stage or raising a glass, etc. Jasmine.
I'd say my experience, yes. When we've done places like the police cells and stuff in the past, if we're in the women's block where they used to put all the women, if myself or one of the other women in the group goes into one of the cells and calls out, we tend to get more activity than if a man were to go in there. Things like that. So I'd say yes in my experience, yeah.
Okay. You then, young Dan?
I'm loving the young Dan, by the way. Same as Jazz. Like, I guess putting things in place that sometimes shouldn't be there as well, like going against the norm. The women in cells, or if we've got a particular male heavy presence, then getting the women to call out. And we did that in the cells in Dover as well, and it really keeps them off. It really does, and you get such a different energy. Chris mentioned it earlier, I think, as well. We were sat in the dressing room at the Theatre Royal. I keep talking about the Theatre Royal. I love the place. And we were in the dressing room and had loads of mirrors around the edge, and we were in pitch black, and we were calling out, and there wasn't much necessarily going to begin. And then we got this energy that just connected to us, and it had so much, and it was literally all over the place. But we changed who would call out in each scenario just to see the change in reaction. Yes, it does make a difference, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. What about you then, Andy? Welcome back, by the way.
Do you know what? Yeah, I know. I got bored of Dan's story.
So,
right, thank you, Fraser.
This is the last.
Fraser just went, oh. Thank you, Fraser. Yeah.
Oh,
No, he was sad that I got kicked out. It's nothing
Right.
to do with you. What was the question, Amy? I've missed it. Sorry.
So find that if I'm going to ask you again, right? Do you find that if you go to a location and if you act out the intended purpose of the building, do you get more activity? For example, singing on a stage or raising a glass at a pub, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because that is true, because we've had that happen on a few sort of locations where, particularly Rougham Tower, where they started playing like Glenn Miller music
Yeah.
and things like that. That happened. And I know at Tutbury Castle, when the lady there, Leslie Smith, she dresses up like
Mary Queen of
the
Scots.
first and things like that. It kind of a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'm
the
going to
answer
ask
to
one more
that
question.
is I definitely think so.
Absolutely. This is going to be the last question and then we're going to end the show, I reckon. And Lisa has put, when you're using equipment on an investigation, what is your favourite piece of kit and why? And I'm going to ask that to Jasmine first.
okay. Do you know what? I'd actually say like your own body. I think that your body is the best tool for ghost hunting. What you can feel, what you can sense, you know, what comes into your head, how the energy is making you feel in yourself, I think is the best way of doing it. If I had to pick a piece of physical equipment, I'd say a Ouija board because they're really handy.
Okay. Right, how about you then, Dan?
So yeah, same as Jazz. Like body, what you can sense, what you can feel, what you can hear. That's massive. If I was going to choose a physical piece of equipment, I really love cat balls at the moment. The little flashy ones. I just think they're so great as a trigger object to just get a reaction. They go off in very random ways, and they do tell a lot about who is around you and where they are. And like 9 times out of 10, there is no way to explain how it has gone off because it's just going off and no one's moving or touched it or gone near it, and it's on the opposite end of the room. And then yeah, I get a little scared.
Absolutely. What about you then, Andy?
Do you know what? It's going to sound really boring, but it's the same. It's just yourself and yourself, really. I love doing like seance work, calling out and just picking up on things like that. I spent a lot of time gate crashing on Dan yesterday, and but he, in fairness, that what he was talking about, those cat balls there, that was brilliant. What he was doing with those, equipment wise. I mean, it's a bit of a not really an equipment thing, but I quite like trigger objects. I like kind of sit and wait things. Do you know what I mean? So like you set something to do it. So trigger objects in
You draw
yeah,
around
I like
it
that.
and that lot.
We did one of
And
those at St. Augustine's, didn't we?
Yeah.
Trudy left one on top of the altar, and she put it there before anyone had gone in the room. And she went back there when she got to her vigil, and it had moved at an angle, and no one had been in the room yet. Like
Wow.
no one had gone in there yet because we were all in the guest room. And she went over there, and it was the strangest thing to see ever. So she reset it. I then went over there after she reset it, and it had moved in the opposite direction.
Wow.
Yeah, powerful
That's
stuff.
amazing. I'm going to go against the... I'm going to go... sorry.
I was going to say that's a great thing if you're looking to do sort of paranormal investigating on a budget as well. That's a great thing that you can make something at home, make a little cross, draw around it, and everything like that. So I like things that you can make and you can pursue your hobby for nothing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go against the grain because I don't have a mediumistic bone in my body, and I do use a lot of kit and that. Obviously, like, cause I do a lot of investigations and that lot with my own team and that lot and people's own. But I really like the Fleur One, which is a thermal imaging camera, and I tell you what,
Yeah.
it captures the best EVPs ever. So that is, and I do a lot of spirit photography as well. So I like me full spectrum cameras and the ultraviolet cameras and infrared cameras and all that lot. So I do a lot of that sort of stuff. So
Nice.
that's
I
what
think that's my next purchase at some point. Save up bit, and I'm going to buy one of those because I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah. Well, thermal imaging cameras.
I think you
people
can
don't
fit those on the bottom of your
think
phone.
about going.
Yeah, I've seen one. It plugs into
Yeah,
the
you
bottom,
can.
doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, I've got one. No, but I don't. But I've broke mine at the moment, so I need to buy a new one. But proper thermal imaging cameras, people don't realise that you could go to the local fire station because they upgrade theirs every couple of years. So sometimes you can get a bit of a bargain by going to your local fire station and getting a thermal imaging camera
that is a
and
good
buying them
tip.
quite cheap
Good
from them.
That is a brilliant tip. I'm going to mention Steve's one in the chat
Yeah.
just there as well. Steve's singing bowl does so much for it. Like every time we've done like a joint crew, he whacks that thing and gives it a little whirl. I don't know how he does it, but it produces some sound and the stuff
Oh, I
comes
do it.
following.
I've got a singing
Have
bowl.
you?
They're really good.
Honestly, the amount that draws up and draws in is brilliant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, guess what? It's gone. I've got Trudy on tonight. So, Andy, is there anything you'd like to plug before we say goodbye?
Well, it's just keep an eye on the page because we've got some new and exciting stuff coming up. And I guess the other thing to do is if you're looking to do something Halloween time, try and get those Halloween events booked with us because they are really, really filling up. So we kind of got something for everyone in every part of the country. And we'd love to see you at Halloween.
Brilliant. Well, it's that time again, and we're going to say goodbye. I'm off to go and do the Demon Files with the Haunted Antiques now, so we're going to be filming that, our live feed for that. So I will say goodbye to everybody, say thank you for joining us, and
thanks for joining us.
See you again next week. So bye everybody. All right, let me see if I can find it.
Ta-ta for now.
See you soon. Bye.
Ta-ta for now. See yous.
Bye.